What is going on, my goobers and goobettes? It is your boy, Do It With Dictatorship, and today we're making content that you didn't ask for that I want to make. You guys know I moved into the new shop. Here we are, settled in, and everything isn't all set up yet. We're still putting things away, and we're still running all the wire for all my equipment. And while that's getting done, I figured I would make some content that I thought would be a really cool idea. One of the things I came up with would be tool reviews. You guys know that I've got a very terrible rule when it comes to buying tools, that if I use it twice, I buy it. So I have a bunch of tools that I've collected over the years for various projects, and they're all just kind of sitting in a pile right now. And I'm going to be doing a complete, unbiased review of pretty much every tool that I have. To keep things simple, I'm not gonna review like individual wrenches, and I'm not gonna give it a 1 to 10 star kind of thing, or like a 5-star review, no Michelin stars, none of that shit. More or less just keep it on a simple, would I buy this tool again, or would I not suggest it, you know? And there will be links for everything in the description via Amazon or whatever, and they will be affiliate links, so if you click on them, you help your boy out. I'm just saying, you know, whatever, do with that information with what you will. Let's start out simple. Milwaukee ratchet, electric ratchet. You guys know that basically the only electrical tools that I buy are Milwaukee. This thing has seen so much work, it's been through so much abuse, it's been chucked through drywall, bounced off of fenders, it's seen a lot of abuse and seen a lot of work. Yes, I would recommend one of these. Up next, a DeWalt Sawzall. This was a staple of my channel for many years. As a matter of fact, I used the thing so much that I bought a second one. I don't know why. It's not like this one doesn't work. They both work great. I've beat the shit out of both of these. And I mean, they've cut everything. They've cut concrete, they've cut plywood, they've cut up Home Depot shopping carts, they've cut catalytic converters, not necessarily mine, but they work really well. I absolutely would recommend these still to this day. And I promise you, nobody can use a Sawzall like Dan. All right, up next we have an iron ton buffing wheel. A lot of people purchase these things for cars. I'm pretty sure I got it at Harbor Freight. I did not use it on cars. I use this specifically to polish my epoxy projects. So whenever I'm doing epoxy and stuff like that, I want to get a mirror finish. I would start with 250 grit sandpaper, work my way up to 3,000, sometimes 5,000 if I'm feeling extra autistic, then crack out the buffing wheel and work my way up the compounds. Yes, I would recommend one of these things. It kicks ass, it's done everything I needed to do, and it has been beat to shit. Up next, we have another DeWalt product, the DeWalt Angle Grinder. Again, this is another product that I liked so much that I bought 2 of them. They both still work. One of them makes an insufferable chatting sound whenever you turn it on. I'm talking ear-deafeningly loud, but it still works. So I have 2 of them. No tool in my collection has seen more abuse than either one of these. These things have seen the worst in me, but it's also one of my favorite tools. Up next, we have this brushless Milwaukee die grinder. This thing's very nice. I believe it was a gift from my parents. They're really good about giving me stuff that I need. You know, both my parents, my mom and my dad, worked at Delta for like 30+ years, work on airplanes and turning wrenches. And they always used pneumatic tools, especially die grinders. So when I told them I wanted an electric one, they were like, son, we didn't know you were gay. But after using it and testing it out, he saw exactly what I saw. Not a tool that I use super often, but when I do, it is exactly what I need. It's perfect for getting those really tight and hard to hit areas, especially if you're doing fabrication or grinding work. You pair that with like a tungsten carbide bit, this thing sings, dude. And I don't think I've ever seen it kill a battery. Absolutely would recommend these. You're probably not gonna hear me say that I don't like Milwaukee stuff. I immediately take that back because you're gonna hear me talk shit about Milwaukee stuff. This is Milwaukee's cordless jigsaw. This whole leveling thing is kind of a piece of shit. The locking mechanism, it never gets me straight cuts. I'd like to say maybe it's user error, but I know how to use these things. Personally, I don't like it. I think it's kind of a piece of shit. It does all right, it cuts fine. I've just never been able to get it to cut right. This little leveling plate that you run across the bottom of the board is always coming unlatched no matter how many times I've tightened it down. It's just, like, for the money, I can't recommend it. A Makita palm sander is up next. This is the square bottom one. I usually prefer the radial ones, the circle ones. I can't remember why I bought this. I probably needed it to get into a corner or something like that. I will say it works great. I just prefer radial sanders. This is good for saving money because you can just cut a piece of sandpaper and put it on there. Does its job. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Keeping in line with the sanders, we have a Bosch Palm Radial Sander. This thing has so many miles on it. The filter on the back is gone. Who knows? The cord has been burnt and cracked. The variable speed, so you can go slow or fast with it, giggity. It used to not be this color, it used to not be black, but I use this thing on wood, on steel, on aluminum. It just keeps on ticking. Bosch makes a good product. I would recommend, absolutely. Continuing the sander theme, we have a Makita belt sander. This thing works fantastic. It's only ever gotten me hurt though. Every time I crack this thing out, I brace because I know I'm gonna fuck myself up somehow. It's just powerful. It kicks ass. It works really well. It's got a lot of power and it just works. I would recommend it. Just you know, if you're stupid like me, just prepare to hurt yourself. All right, I shouldn't do this one this early, but this is the favorite tool that I own. This one sees the most work, the most effort out of any of my tools. This thing has just continued to work nonstop. I thought it was gonna break at several points in time. It has continued to tick. My Milwaukee M18 angle grinder. You know how much money this thing has made me? This thing has made me tens of thousands, maybe $100,000 altogether between all my projects, all my orders and stuff like that with PPI. I mean, this thing continues to work. It'll eat a battery quick. Like if you're doing a lot of grinding, you'll go through batteries pretty quick, but I cannot recommend this piece of equipment enough. Stepping away from corded angle grinders, you realize you get so much more torque than you would out of a 120 wall, right? Like a regular wall outlet angle grinder cannot produce the same amount of amps that these batteries can. So these things have more torque and more power. This thing has so many hours. It looks really good considering how much work this thing has done, but I bet if you were to calculate how many miles this thing has spun around, you could drive to Florida and back. This is a Wen disc and belt grinder. I bought this when I was starting to get into knife making and I needed something that was cheap and would do the belt stuff. You know, honestly, like it's not an amazing tool, right? It's not the nicest piece of equipment that I've ever bought. Matter of fact, I have a couple more tools by Wen that I'll show off. But for what I needed, it did its job. I cannot, you know, for the price, I recommend it, I really do. I'm a big fan of nice tools and I'm a big fan of cheap tools, as long as they both work. And this works. This is another tool that has seen its fair share of work. It's a DeWalt chop saw. I've used it exclusively for metal, specifically metal tubing, square tubing, round tubing, and long bar. I do use it for long bar. Yes, I will recommend it. It does have its downfalls. If you don't have it plugged into like a really good circuit, it'll pop a breaker. Or if you have like the extension cords with the breakers built into them, it'll pop those breakers. It does draw a lot of power. I think a lot of it depends on how good your wheel is, if you have a good cutting wheel. But it's gotten me through a lot of projects. I cannot recommend it enough, especially for the price. And speaking of saws, we have a Craftsman skill saw. This is a corded one, pretty bog standard, cuts wood great, you know, nothing wrong with it at all. Easy to use, been a very solid tool. You know, Craftsman's a decent brand. You know, there's nothing wrong with Craftsman. I like Craftsman. Another tool that just works, right? Yeah, would buy again. But I mean, if you're gonna spend the money. This is Milwaukee's, their cordless skill saw. It uses the same batteries as the Impacts and, you know, the 18 volt. Plenty powerful. This thing is fantastic. It's good at cutting plywood. And again, like what I said earlier, you get a little bit more amps out of these things than you do a wall outlet. So this is gonna be more powerful than your traditional plug-in stuff. Relatively good on batteries. I like it. I would recommend it, absolutely. You pair this thing with a really good blade and it'll chew wood all day long. Here's a good one. Hey, look at this. I bet you didn't think I'd have any Ryobi tools, but it's true. I got reds, I got greens, and I got everything in between. So yeah, this is my Ryobi saw. Very good for woodworking. It articulates back and forth, goes up and down. You can set your degree. It's got a laser on it. For what I paid for this thing, I absolutely love it. It's helped me out through a good bit of wood project. I'd say more than the average bear. I can't recommend it enough, especially for the price. All right, let's talk about drills. Milwaukee cordless drill, 12 volt. I use it for pretty much everything but drilling holes. I use it to put like a polishing wheel on it or a grinding bit on the end of it. Excellent tool, plenty powerful. Chews batteries like it's nobody's business. That's really it. I would recommend it, but get the upgraded batteries because this thing eats batteries really quick. Up next, we have a Makita drill. This thing has both regular drill settings and hammer drill settings. I've used it to drill into concrete to lay anchors. I've used it to drill through steel studs. It will rip your shoulder out of its socket. It's so strong. And that's why I don't use it very often, because it will hurt me. It almost always does. I can't tell you how many videos and projects you've seen, either this one or my other drill, absolutely wreck my wrists and shoulders. I do recommend it. It's very strong. It's never let me down. It snaps wrists, it snaps bits, but would recommend. Another drill, this is a Hitachi. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't remember why I bought this. I may have broken my other drill at the time. I'm not positive, but this is just like the Makita one in the fact that it will rip your shit. I think it's because they're both not brushless. I think that's the difference between them. Again, excellent drill, has been through so many different beatings. Would recommend, just prepare yourself. All right, we have a Skill bench grinder. I bought this when I was starting to get into knife making as well. I needed something to do the leading edge on my blades, as well as polish them, and this is what I used. I used a grinding wheel on this side and a polishing wheel on this side. Again, for what I paid for it, man, cannot complain. This thing It just works. Just works. Absolutely would recommend. All right, now we're getting into some tools that I hate. Not because they're bad, but because they scare me. This is a Bosch Colt. It's a small, medium router. And these routers scare me. They're very powerful. They spin a very tiny, sharp blade that will remove fingers with zero effort. Anytime that I use one of these, I'm extra careful. But again, this is Bosch, super high quality. I did spend a lot of money on this one. Variable speed as well. Would recommend, but it is heavy on the budget. Very nice. And even further, we got this one. This is also a Bosch router. This one is the Finger Remover 5000. Look at this blade. Look at the blade on this thing. I got this guy specifically because I needed to do like a 2-inch roundover bit with a 1/2-inch shank, I believe is what this is. I had to go up in a size of router just to be able to handle these bits, because otherwise they don't make them big enough. And this thing genuinely is a terror to use. It's a beautiful machine, it works very well. I'm just extra careful with this thing because I know that it will take a finger off without as so much as taking a breath. One of those tools you gotta respect. But again, would recommend. Very high quality, very nice, very expensive. Bosch shit is not cheap. Man, I really need to clean some of these. These are tools that I keep laying around and they get dirty, and I need to start cleaning them when I'm done. All right, up next is a Milwaukee cordless trim nail shooter thing. Can't remember exactly why I bought this thing because I feel like I don't really need it for anything. I mean, I don't remember using trim nails on stuff, but I know I've used it because it's loaded and I do remember using it. So another one of these tools that works great. It's got a semi-automatic mode. It's got a quick fire mode where you can just tap it and go. It will not kill a battery. You know, you could leave a battery plugged up to this thing and use it for 100 hours, I feel like, and it still keep going. Works great if you need it. And you can also like push this thing back and shoot the nails pretty far. That's kind of cool. Sometimes it gets jammed. I think that's just nail guns. But yeah, if you need a trim nail, works good. For an electric one, it's not super heavy either. And keep it on with Milwaukee, we have an Impact. I think that's what this is officially titled as. I don't know, this is another one of these tools that has seen hell and back. I use it for driving screws, lag bolts. I've also used it for taking wheels off of cars, and it's just one of those multi-purpose driver tools that works good. It's got 3 power settings as well as like a hammer drill setting, so you can use it to drive through concrete or impact screws harder, whatever, you know. Again, I've had this one for probably close to 8 years, maybe, something like that. It does give me issues every now and again. Sometimes it'll randomly not want to work and I gotta like jiggle the switch back and forth and like take the battery off, put it back on, and it'll go back to working like normal every now and again. But yeah, would absolutely recommend. Very powerful, very powerful. This thing has almost done as much work as my angle grinder. And if you use Milwaukee stuff a lot like I do, obviously I have a collection of Milwaukee tools. I like their tools, so since I have a lot of their tools, a lot of their M18 stuff, I have this pack out. I think this was also a gift. This thing will charge 6 of these batteries, but not at the same time. It charges one battery, then moves to another, and then moves to the next, then moves to the next. I did not know that, although it does make sense. But yeah, I still would recommend it. I feel like this is a little bit overpriced for a charger. Just my 2 cents. Milwaukee does overprice their stuff a little bit, maybe a lot of it sometimes. But overall, if you got the money, I would recommend this. If you got the batteries, I only have 2 in here right now. I have roughly 8 or 9 of these batteries, and these batteries are like $250, $300 a piece, something like that. So, I mean, I spent the money, so the charger makes sense for me. All right, heat guns. I have 2 brands. Both of them are pretty cheap. I know this one is super cheap. Your Best heat gun. This thing is cheap as hell. And then I have a Wagner, which I think is a little bit more expensive. I don't even remember how I came across this one. I might have bought it in a pinch. I'm probably not the right person to speak on these things. John and them are more than definitely gonna be the ones to talk about heat guns, but both of these have worked fine. It's one of those things where I think you just go with the cheapest one, and when it burns out, you throw it away and get a new one. That's how I understand it in the wrap world. I think. Let me see. Let me get your opinion on something. When it comes to heat guns, what's your rule? Do you buy the cheap one or you buy the expensive one?
You go as cheap as possible.
It's gonna burn out, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Every now and then, their $19.99 heat gun goes on sale for $6.99, and I go there with a shopping cart and
just buy a dozen of them.
buy all of them.
Really?
I buy them all.
That's the way to do it then.
I'll tell you what I get.
Yeah, show me what you get. This is the wrap expert, so we're gonna see what he says. This is what John gets. John gets the Warrior, so take it from him.
Yeah, some of them come out the box broken.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, up next we have, is it the XZ-Tals or whatever? You remember that camera, the snake camera that goes down stuff? This was a sponsored tool. They did send me this out to do a video on. But I'll be honest with you guys, I mean, it's a pretty cool tool. I probably only use it a handful of times. It will be a nice tool to have. At the price point, you know, I'd say it's pretty reasonable. A tool like this, even just a couple of years ago, was like a $500 tool minimum. You get one of these things for, I think, under 200 bucks now. I honestly think it is a pretty good deal. I would recommend this. And that's not with them sponsoring me. I don't have any affiliation with them anymore. It was a one and done deal. But it is cool to have, man. If you find yourself doing inspection stuff or you're like flipping cars and stuff like that, you need to get down in some crevices to check stuff out, I would recommend. All right, and we have two Wen drill presses, both the smaller one and the bigger one. If I'm being honest, I can't remember why I bought both. I think I bought the small one first for making knives and then realized I needed a bigger one for other projects. So I kept this one at the house, brought that one to the shop. Honestly, I can't remember. No remembrance whatsoever. I will say for the money, not a bad option. I like both of them. I don't use them super often, but when I do, they tend to work okay. Sometimes the small one slips, so if you're gonna buy one, I would suggest the nicer one, the bigger one. It's more practical, it's got better gears up here. I think this one also has a laser. I don't think this one does. I mean, honestly, if you just need a quick and dirty drill press and you don't have, you know, a ton of money to buy one of these isn't a bad option. I would recommend the bigger one over the smaller one. All right, this is a bit of a strange one. This is one of those Amazon, or maybe it was Harbor Freight. Maybe I got Harbor Freight. Just a fender roller. It's literally just like it bolts onto your hub here, and then you extend this out, and then you crank it, you go back and forth, and it's supposed to roll your fenders out. I want to say it worked fine, but the hub didn't line up the way I needed it to, so I had to modify it to fit the car that I had it on. I just can't remember what I used it for. I know I used it on the Scion when I lowered it, when I did the air ride, but I had it before then. I mean, it seemed to work all right. I wouldn't buy one new, probably. I would buy a used one from someone like me who beat it the fuck up a little bit, made it work a little bit, and you can get it for half the price of what you'd normally pay for it. Cause not like an awesome tool, right? Like, does it work? Sure, but just, you know? Next we have this rigid planer. I use this for a lot of woodworking projects that need smooth boards and whatnot. You know, you're obviously limited to your like 13 inches wide or whatever it is. Other than the fact that the thing is really heavy, it's worked great. I've never had any issues with it. It's loud, it's heavy, it's obnoxious, but it works good. And I don't remember it costing too much money. Not bad, would recommend. Amazon billet tools, windshield and glass removal. I used it twice, it worked good. For the price, can't beat it, would recommend. Gear Wrench branded body hammers. I really have only used these a little bit. Some of them are missing. They're kind of lost in that car over there. For the price, works good. I mean, you got all these cool mallets. This is how I learned how to do some of my body work. I'm still learning how to do some of my body work and metalworking with these guys. But they've proven to be very useful for how I've done them, so I would recommend them. All right, this is a Milwaukee multi-tool. It's like one of their little vibrating knife things. You can use it for sanding, for cutting, and a couple other things. I bought this thing for a specific project that I needed, not knowing how good these things were. I'd never used them before. And they're very useful tools. They work great on wood and plastic and some metal. There's a couple metal blades. For the price, probably a little expensive. You could probably get a cheaper one and it worked just as well. But since all my batteries are Milwaukee, I went with the Milwaukee one. But yeah, I'd recommend it. I'd say go for it. All right, we got a Task Force bandsaw, very cheap bandsaw. I traded this for a microwave to somebody. Used it a handful of times, especially when I did my knife making stuff a lot, and it works good. It works fantastic. It's a little finicky to line up. It's a cheap bandsaw that cuts wood and metal. I would recommend. Why not? Especially if you're trading it for a microwave. All right, what about some pneumatic stuff? We have a Husky palm sander, little stick-on 6-inch discs, adjustable airflow, pretty solid. I don't use this thing very much, only use it for body work, which is why I bought it, but it is good. I like it. I would recommend this. We also have a die grinder. I use it for like little sanding discs on here for getting tight to reach places, or you can also throw in those die grinder bits. This is very useful. It's a good angle. Throw in cutting wheels, get hard to reach areas. The brand is Ingersoll Rand. Unfamiliar with the brand. Bought it at Harbor Freight. So far, so good. Works great. Keep it lubricated. Also have another die grinder. It's a Husky as well. I would say just as good as the other one. I just keep different bits on here so that way I don't have to switch them out all the time. Would recommend. You know, if you got the air set up, these tools are relatively cheap and you just oil them and you keep up with them. They work. Up next, we got a DeWalt Ziz wheel, little cutting tool. A little heavy, on the heavy side, works good. Last time I used it, I exploded my blade, but that's no big deal. Overall, a little bit big, a little bit bulky, but they make smaller ones. Works good, never had an issue with it. Then we got a Baxter air belt sander. I didn't know the name of this thing. This is a relatively recent purchase of mine as well. I got it because I needed to reach in some weird areas. And I've seen people use these, especially for removing like spot welds where you've got panels that are welded together, or if you need to get behind body panels or get into tight crevices, you know? And I gotta say, it actually works fantastic. Like I said, relatively new purchase to me. I'd never used one of these things before, and I was kind of upset at myself for not getting one earlier. It does work really well. I would recommend one of these. And this Harbor Freight, it was cheap, pretty cheap. And you cannot have a shop or work on stuff without music. That's my opinion. I don't know if some of you guys just work in quiet, but I have to listen to music while I work, otherwise I will probably kill myself. I bought this JBL boombox a couple years ago. I bought it when I got my Camaro because it didn't have a radio that worked, so I just used this thing in the car as my radio, and it is awesome, dude. This is one of those things where I cannot recommend enough. I wish I was sponsored by these guys. I'd have 12 of these things. It is just such a powerful speaker. It does great indoor and outdoor. It lasts forever. It also works as like a battery, so if you want to charge your phone off of it, you can. This is easy, 10 out of 10 for me, you know. All right, now we're getting to the spot where I can't put stuff on the table. This is my LiftMaster low profile, high capacity jack. I use it on everything. I do recommend, I like it very much, and it wasn't that expensive. Dual pump, ultra low level jack. I don't know if this is considered a tool, but I'm gonna review it anyway. This is my double burner Hell's Forge forge. You know, I use this for making knives, and I absolutely love it. It kicks ass. And now that it's all sealed up and whatnot, I think it's perfect, and I wanna use it a good bit this winter. So looking forward to that. This is my Laguna table saw, one of my biggest tool purchases I've ever made, well, at the time that I made it, especially when I started getting really heavy into woodworking. This thing is fantastic. I cannot talk about this table good enough. I love it. I need to rebalance it, I guess. And I definitely need to resurface it, but this table kicks ass and it terrifies me. This is one of the scariest tools that I own. I try to treat it with so much respect, but I have a feeling if I'm gonna lose a finger, it's gonna be because of this thing. Absolutely would recommend. It's just if you have the budget for it. It's very expensive. I wanna say I paid almost 3 grand for this thing, and I paid full price. There was no discounts here. I paid cash money for this thing. Brand new too, but I like it. I like it a lot. I would absolutely recommend this thing if you have the budget for it. This right here is a VacMaster. It's a 5.5 horsepower, 12-gallon vacuum. It's a wet, dry vacuum, so it does both. And this thing has sucked so much. I mean, way more than your ex-wife. This thing is fantastic. I'd recommend this thing. If you had one, it'd suck the soul right out of you. This is my Sonic toolbox, specifically the Corvette toolbox. I went out to Alabama and I picked this up directly from them. That was a fun video. While this was a sponsored toolbox, I'm no longer sponsored with them, so I can say whatever I want about it. And truth be told, it's awesome. I love this thing. Every bit of tool on here has DIWD on it, which stands for Do It With Dan. This is a very nice toolbox, and I've had 0 issues with it. Transporting it's been easy. It locks up great. There's a spot for everything inside of it. They make a quality box, for sure. This is a Pittsburgh 1-ton engine hoist. It does fine. It's never had any issues. It's beat up, it's ugly, but it works. So it's also lifted some stuff other than engines. This right here is my belt grinder. I got it specifically for making knives. This is one of the most rudimentary, basic ones that you can buy, and it still costs a fortune. I don't know why these things are so expensive. They may be cheaper now, but when I bought this thing, I wanna say I paid $1 grand for it. They're close to it about. There's a reason why it's sitting right here is because it weighs about 35,000 fucking pounds. And I don't want to move it. You think, oh, it can't be that bad. They try to move it, and you're like, oh, holy shit. And I'm pretty sure that's an air compressor motor. So just giving you an idea of what this thing is. And this isn't even the most expensive one you can buy. This is a single speed. A lot of them have multi-speeds and have 6-way adjustables and platforms. This was basic, and it ran me so much money that I didn't want to buy another one. I don't even remember the brand, but would I recommend it? I would. This is my Emax air compressor and my Emax air dryer. They came as a package deal with my plasma cutter setup. And it is an 80-gallon quiet air compressor. It's not very fucking quiet, but it is an air compressor. It is a little bit too small to run the table that I bought, even though it was sold at a package deal. And I know this because my motor went out originally. My motor, the first time, has already gone out. I had to buy a second motor, which that is not cheap, by the way. So I had to buy an upgraded motor to keep this thing running longer because it's not quite big enough to run my table. But it's a good air compressor. Outside of the motor blowing up, for the price, there's probably better options. And the air dryer, what this is for is when you have compressed air, it gets cold, and this kind of keeps the air dry. Cold equals moisture. Moisture's bad for things like plasma cutting because it almost works as like an abrasive for the nozzle. So you want the air going into the plasma cutter to be dry. And it's not just better for plasma cutting, but it's better for your tools. You don't want moisture in your air tools. So that's what this guy does. This dries the air that goes in and out. It keeps it from being wet. Would I recommend them? Sure. I don't really know air compressors that well. This is my first big boy air compressor. The price seemed kind of high. Whatever, take it with a grain of salt. I also got a Lincoln electric welder. It's a 180 HD weld pack. I liked it so much, I bought a second one to run predominantly aluminum. So I had one that ran steel and with a MIG torch, and then this one with a spool gun runs aluminum. But I ended up giving my other one to a buddy of mine because he wanted to learn how to weld, and I have another welder. I like it a lot. It works great. You can get them for relatively cheap nowadays. They'll weld pretty much anything if you know what you're doing. And it's a great place to start if you want to do steel or aluminum. This is my other welder. This is a Yes welder, the DP200. They did send this out for me to do a review on, but I'm no longer under any contract with them. I can say whatever I want about it. And they didn't tell me I couldn't say what I wanted about it, but I really like this thing. This is my first like welder with a screen on it and like hardcore adjustable settings. I mean, for what these things go for, I feel like you can't beat this. It has really blown me away. Getting the settings right took no time at all. Very easy setup. I absolutely recommend this, and there's no bias there. This was straight up out of the gate, an awesome welder. Oh, and ignore the blue tape. I just put blue tape on stuff so my buddy Sean would know what needs to be wired up. Hey, he's coming and going when he can, so that's just for that. And this is one of my like favorite tools that I have. This is my powder coating oven. It's made by Built American Equipment. I love this thing. This has easily been one of my best purchases, hands down. Like powder coating ovens can get really expensive, but Built American Equipment, super reasonable prices. They make a kick-ass quality product. It's all here in the USA. They didn't send this out for free or anything like that. I do work with them, but it wasn't like that. This thing is just, it's kick-ass. You know, it's one of the best purchases that I made for my business for powder coating. I highly recommend these guys. They make ovens that are way bigger than this. They make ovens that are way smaller than this. So if you're looking to get started, give these guys a check out. It's kind of like a one and done purchase, right? This thing has been pretty much entirely carefree. It also came with like the big nice rack on the inside, and it's got a fan and a controller. I mean, the setup was very easy, very intuitive, and it's made here in the USA. And I think I have a coupon code for you guys. Matter of fact, they sent me a pretty cool care package because I just got a powder coating booth from them as well. That's coming. It should be here relatively soon. We'll get that all wired up. They sent me just a cool care package. I got some cool stuff I'm gonna bolt onto the fridge. No way they did. They do. I do have a discount for you guys. Dude, check this out. Oh my God. That is too funny, man. That is too funny. They said that they were sending me something that I needed to bolt on to the side of the oven for videos. That's so funny, man. I'm telling you, I love working with companies that like working with me. And especially when they have a good sense of humor. Dude, check that out. I get to bolt this to the front of the oven. It says, if you get coupon code, do it Dan, you get 5% off. That's badass, man. Thank you guys. What do you think? We'll put that up here. When I do the review, we'll install it. But that's cool, man. Built American Equipment. These guys are awesome. I got a full review on that coming soon. And then this is my plasma cutter. This does all the cutting for my CNC machine. It is capable of using like a regular hand torch. I've only used it for CNC cutting, but this thing has been fantastic. Hypertherm, that is all they do is make plasma cutters, and they are good at it. You know, there's other companies, there's welder companies that make plasma cutters. There's all sorts of tool companies that also make plasma cutters. Hypertherm only makes plasma cutters, which is why I went with their brand. This thing's good. It'll do up to an inch thick of steel. Edge start, giggity, but it will do up to an inch thick of steel. And it's been pretty strong. It's been a pretty strong machine. I would recommend it. It's expensive, but it works. And then moving down the line to my most expensive tool that I own is this. This is my plasma cutting table. You guys have known that this is basically what has funded the channel for the past couple of years. This is an ArcLight dynamic table. They make the gantry system, they make the table itself, They don't make the plasma cutter. The plasma cutter is a different brand, but they make this and the computer that goes with it. This is a 4 foot by 8 foot table. I picked it up a couple years ago. The whole setup, I'll be honest with you guys, between the air compressor, the computer that runs it, the plasma cutter, and the table was roughly $30,000. I paid that full price. It wasn't like I had any hookups. I can say whatever I want about this table. And I gotta say, it's pretty all right. It's been overall relatively carefree. I say that knowing that this is the reason why my orders, you see that it's still strapped to the fucking trailer. There's almost no support for these things, right? So when these go down, it's a lot of like getting on forums and getting online and figuring stuff out. When there's an issue cutting, it's like, oh, you need to contact the plasma cutting people. You contact the plasma cutting people. Like, no, that's actually an interface people issue. So you gotta contact the interface people. And they're like, oh, that's actually a hardware issue. So you gotta figure out how to like work on these things a little bit. This has been an extreme learning curve, but for the most part, it has been relatively carefree experience. It does fuck up randomly. Like every now and again, it will just completely fuck up a cut. And that could cost me 10 bucks. That could cost me $1,000, depending on the kind of material I'm cutting, how much of a fuck up it is, stuff like that. So like, do I recommend the table? Sure. There's about a billion brands that make CNC tables like this. This is the only one I have personal experience with. These things can get really expensive. This was right in the middle, right? You can get a smaller table for cheaper, but it ain't that much cheaper, which is why I went ahead and go with the 4 foot by 8 foot. Most sheets of metal are 4 foot by 8 foot. Most sheets of wood are in 4 foot by 8 foot, and you can swap out the head to have a rotary attachment. So if you want to program the G code to do rotary on wood instead of plasma cutting on metal, it can do that. I've just never experimented with that. Personally, I think if you're gonna spend around 30 racks on something like that, look into laser cutting. I think that's where I should have gone. I think I should have gone with laser cutting instead of plasma cutting, because laser can do multiple mediums. It can do wood, it can do plastic, it can do steel, it can do aluminum. And the tolerances, from what I understand, are better. That's gonna be my 2 cents, is like, yes, this has been a good table. I haven't had that many issues. It's only caused me a few headaches. It's just when they do, they're big headaches. But for running a business, man, it's been fine. And I don't think let me explain one more thing on this table. We're gonna end it on this table here. The reason I bought the table was because I was tired of cutting out brackets by hand with an angle grinder. I was tired of using drills to drill through 1/4 inch thick steel. So I started looking at getting these tables to help me do it. I didn't want to do it anymore, so I was like, I'll just get a table that does it for me. The precision will be there, I'll learn how to use it and all that stuff. Well, then I started looking at the prices, and the price difference between a big table and a small table isn't really that much. The setup is still the same. You still got to get the air compressor, you still got to get the plasma cutter, and you still got to get the computer that runs it. All that price is static. The table, the size isn't that much bigger of a difference. You're talking about a few grand in between each sizes. So what I did was I was like, you know what, in order to afford to pay for the table, I will create a business around it. And this table's paid for itself probably 10 times over. I mean, these things literally print money, and if I wanted to go into hardcore business, I would get 2 more of these things and just fucking print money, because that's what they do. I just don't like doing it, right? Like, the PPI stuff has been great. It's great money. My margins are relatively low, and I'm able to turn out a very good product all by myself. But it's a lot of work, and it takes away from doing the other stuff that I love. So take that for what you will. These tables are fantastic at printing money if you're gonna create a business around it. So, also, that's not my motorcycle. That's one of the other people that work here. It's not mine. Don't look at that. Don't be like, Dan, you bought another motorcycle. It's not mine. And that's not a bullshit. It's genuinely not mine. Well, there you have it. That is basically every tool that I own that I feel like is worth reviewing at the time. I definitely have more tools laying around, but like, none that I use to any capacity like this. Like, I just got a brand new tube bender. I don't even have it out of the box yet. I can't really review that. Got a bead roller for roll pans I use like one time. I like that, but I can't really review it because I've only used it once, you know? This is all stuff that I use quite regularly. But we'll end on some good news, because we're pretty close to wrapping this up. My electrician says we'll have everything wrapped up by the end of this upcoming week, so then we can get back to orders and back to full fuck working and tearing apart a Honda Magna that you guys can win, and finishing up orders and working on the Camaro. We got so much stuff that we got to do. I am just overwhelmed. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Now, I don't have a sponsor for today's video, so I'm gonna do my own. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm giving away a Honda Magna bobber very similar to mine. Not this one, but this glorious, delicious, amazing purple one that is going to be a custom built from the ground up, beautiful Honda Magna bobber. We're theming it after the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. This one is gonna be pestilence, so you have until August to win. Work with me, guys. I don't know how to plug my own giveaway. I've never done one. All you gotta do is go to lincolnfiltercustoms.com, the website link in my description, and every dollar you spend on the website will equal 1 entry. Yeah, that's all I got. So, have a good evening. Bye.